Hey, welcome to another episode of The Rob Report. I'm your host, Robert Bob TV Brown. Before we get into the segment, by the end of this video, I want you to do a few things for me. First of all, if you like the video, hit the like button. Please do. If you don't like it, hit unlike. It's okay. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel. Sometimes, as Jimmy Dole would say, you find yourself unsubscribed and you need to make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell right next to it so you can be notified when a new video is being dropped. Whoop, there it is. And more importantly, the super chat will be on for this segment. So if you want to donate toward the efforts of Bob TV, that's freely up to you. Any amount will help toward the growth of this channel. My name is Robert Brown with the Rob Report. Let's get into it. Well, good day, good day. Welcome to another episode of the Rob Report. I'm your host, Bob TV. What it do? What it do? What it do? What's up, YouTube? What's up, Facebook? What's up, Twitch? This year, one of my things that I've committed to was to make sure that I'm on exactly at 10. And I'm going to mess up on it at first, but I'm going to eventually get it down packed. So I ask that you guys please bear with me while I do whatever I can to make sure that I'm abide by my own rule for 2021. The show used to be called Bernie or Bust TV, which also stands for Bob TV. But once I realized that Bernie didn't have what it takes to start a political revolution, I decided to name it Bob TV after myself. I wasn't going to let it be used to push the progressive movement or progressive agenda. I wanted it to be used to be a voice for all people, progressive, Republican, Democrats. It doesn't matter. I'm not partisan. I'm not even bipartisan. I'm just open. And the whole mantra of the Rob Report is where knowing the truth will make you free. See, the scripture never said the truth shall set you free. It said the truth will make you free. There's a difference between making and setting. In here, I'm going to always try my best to get down to the truth. I'm going to miss it, but I'm going to do my best to get down to the truth. Today's topic, we're going to talk about Patriots or Sychophants. Which one are you, or which one am I? Are they? Are they Patriots or Sychophants? We're going to look at that today. Before we get started, I want you to like this video, share it, hit the notification bell. I've given up this avenue of political space, or this channel. I've quit trying to, let me put it this way. I cannot look at this as a profit margin. I only can look at this as my way of contributing to the society, my way of doing whatever I can to make America more of an opportunistic, and when I say opportunistic, I don't mean money-wise, but for its unity, a way of getting people together to make this country great. Not great again, but great for the first freaking time, because it's never been great. Now, so majority of my videos, when I try to monetize it, it gets shut down. Talked to a friend of mine at YouTube, said I'm on a shadow ban. And he told me how. And he told me what they did and what they're doing to keep me on the shadow ban. I went from 10,800 subscribers to under 10,000 now. And it's not because of you. But I do ask you to weekly always go back to make sure that you're subscribed. Always go back and hit the notification bell and share this video. Hit the notification bell and hit always and share this video. That way you know when a video is dropped. Whoop, there it is. Because they do have me on the shadow ban because they don't like some of the things that I may be talking about. I've been censored. Can't even go live because Roland Martin Cookie Monster eating got me hit with a copyright strike. And I can't even go live. But it's not going to stop me. I'll pre-record. I'll go on another channel. Nothing's going to stop me. So I can't look at this YouTube to do it. So I use fair use clauses that when I do a video, I activate fair use because I'm not trying to profit off these videos. I don't even want them to advertise on this video. I wish I can stop them from advertising on my videos because they still advertise, they still make money, but they'll say your video is not advertising friendly, which means you're not going to make any money. So to keep it more of a community-centered, free press type thing, I only will do this as nonprofit. And if anybody wants to donate, you can always donate at the PayPal link that you'll see popping up on the channel somewhere around here. I'm going to continue to try to finance myself in this because I'm not going to stop this unless I feel I need to go another direction. But the direction I go is going to amplify this. It's not going to shut this down. I myself, probably another year, going to run for community leader in my community, see what I can do to help out. Will I run for major public office? No. We need people like me on here, as unapologetically right down the middle, that don't take sides. I'm about taking over. I'm not about taking sides. I'm all about truth. I'm not all about people's narrative and things like that. And that's me. So I invite you that if you do want to support the channel, we ask that you support $3 to $5 on our Patreon channel. Or you could donate directly through the PayPal or Cash App. Or you do the thing that's free. Like, share, and subscribe. More importantly, subscribe. Because as the numbers go up, they have to open up doors. So I'm depending mainly on myself. And I ask that if you want to be a part of supporting the channel, you have the way to do that. That link right here will tell you. You can also go to our main page, bobtvnyc.com. I have links to this channel. I have links to my Winning with Love channel. I have links to some of the music that I do. I do create music. I'm not trying to be a singer. I write music, and if I can't find somebody to sing it, I try my best to sing it myself. So you see stuff up there also. I do venture off into telling people about programs that I believe will better them as American citizens, give them more freedom, more rights, and things like that. Also there on the page. Now let me get off this, and let me get on this subject right here. Patriots or sycophants? Now, I don't know how or where I'm going to go or how I'm going to do this. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to start with each story. So let's take a look at this. A sycophant is the character or practices of a servile flatterer, the act of fawning. In other words, a sycophant is a person who just fawn, adore, extremely love, overlove somebody. That's a sycophant. Say, may I dust off your plate for you, sir? And you got the guy trying to appease the umpire by dusting off the place for him when the umpire don't need you. He can dust off his plate himself. That is a sycophant. How many people you know? And look, you find them in everywhere. You got people who are sycophantic about Barack Obama. You got people that are sycophantic about Trump. Heck, you got people that are sycophantic about Joe Biden. I just call that person sick. If you're a fan of Trump to the point that you do crazy stuff in the name of Trump, guess what? You're a sycophant. Oh, if you're one of that person that believed that Barack Obama had no scandals, that he could do no wrong, and you just love him and you got pictures of him all in your house, just like some of you got pictures of Trump all in your house and, and all that kind of stuff. And I get it. You're going to have the first black president in your house. But when you got the plate, when you still got the shoes and you still got the hat and the buttons, all the memorabilia, I get it. You're going to keep that stuff, because that's a historic moment. But to actually believe that this man didn't have no scandals, and I can go over at least 10 of them back to back, I'm not going to do it here, and you believe he did no wrong, then you might be a sycophant. Likewise with your Trump people, you're real sycophants. Now, not all people who support Barack Obama are sycophants. Not all people who support Donald Trump are sycophants. Not all people are going to that extreme. But there's a bunch of them that do. All right, so let's, we're just talking here. Sycophant, someone practicing obedient flattery. A person who acts obsequiously, I can't say that word, leave me alone, towards someone important in order to gain an advantage. Or Waylon Smither, Waylon Smither is that character on the Simpsons that like to kiss behind or brown nose or do whatever he can in the name of favoritism and things like that. Now, I'm going to go into the first story. Before I go to that story, I want to also try to pull this up, see if I can get this up. Patriot. What is a patriot? Because we hear these words over and over again. You're not a patriot. You're a traitor. You're not a patriot. You're a patriot. And here's the definition of a patriot. A patriot is a person who vigorously supports their country and is prepared to defend it against enemy or detractors. A person who vigorously supports their country. Not a person who vigorously supports a man. You're not a patriot if you're vigorously supporting a man. That's a loyalist. For those people who are going out there saying, we're patriots. Well, a patriot will vigorously support their country and is prepared to defend it against enemies of detractors. How in the world you call yourself a patriot when you intend to do things to make this country, to harm this country, to harm this country's citizen? I don't care what color they are. I don't care what religion they are. I don't care what part of the country they're for. These people are still American citizens, and if you're doing whatever you can to harm them, then you are not a patriot. See, this country is not founded on just on the land of America, because most of that stuff was stolen and people died and was hung and burnt and you name it, intentionally put sickness and disease on them to get this country, conned and schemed and stolen from them. That's not patriotism, but it was done all in the guise of patriotism. It's the people of this country. If you call yourself a patriot for America, then you're a person who vigorously support the people. And you're here in stand of the people to defend the people of this country. If you have in your mindset that The person across from you, even though you don't agree, even though you're across the aisle, if you sit up there looking at them as your enemy or your detractor, you got it all wrong. The American citizen who may not agree with you, may not have the same ideology of you, or may not have the same purpose or goal of you, patriotism don't have, that is, if they don't agree with you, that does not make them traitors. That do not make them unpatriotic. That's just a person who don't agree with you. If you had everybody that agree with you, it is no longer considered a democracy. It is considered a theocracy, where the king rule, and it's the law of the king, and either you obey it or off with your head. And some of you people are like that about Trump. Not all of you Trump supporters, but some of you. We're going to go over that today. I've seen some of you out there, you're ready to go in there and attack people in the Capitol building, call them, they're traitors, they're treasonous, they're unpatriotic, and we need to get the guillotines out. Bruh, you are a detractor. All because somebody don't believe this thing was fair and square. Overturning the government and punishing the senators in the government ain't gonna change that. The way you change that is through the courts, by lawsuits and things like that. And contrary to whether you like it or not, they did the lawsuit thing, they did the courts thing, and the courts said no. And most of these people were Trump-appointed judges. That's because they're not loyal to Trump. They're not patriots. Again, I told you there's a difference between a patriot and a loyalist. Somebody kissing the behind of somebody, willing to die on the line for somebody, that's a loyalist. A patriot defends his country, not a person, not even the person running the country. The person running the country is just a representative of the people in the country, not the country itself. And if that person isn't representing all of the people, then maybe he's a loyalist. Maybe he's unpatriotic. Oh, yeah, I've seen some of you guys go, Trump hugging the flag, kissing the flag, and things like that. He got y'all, man. He got y'all juiced up, man. And it's the same thing. Barack Obama sit there and sing, Al Green. Got y'all juiced up. See Kamala Harris with some Chuck Taylors or some Timberlands. Y'all get juiced up over that. What that got to do with making things better for you? She got some Timberlands. I got some Timberlands too. I ain't got no Chucks. I got some Timberlands. My mama got some Chucks. How's that going to help you? Joe Biden wearing the cool shades. Come on, man. You're taking these men and making them your idols. Let me tell you something. If I don't see you do something for the American people in great numbers, first of all, I'm not idolizing nobody. Let me tell you something. In the 80s, I was a Michael Jackson guy. Oh, I idolized Michael Jackson. I had a long Jerry curl with the curl down, Superman curl down the middle. Oh, I was doing the Michael Jackson dance steps. Oh, you should have seen me. Oh, man, I could put up here right now pictures of my room when I was a kid with Michael Jackson on the ceiling, Michael Jackson on the wall, Michael Jackson on the closet door, in the closet door, and on the window. And if you want to battle, could nobody touch me doing Michael Jackson, man? It's on. Hit the music. Billie Jean is not my lover. It's over with, bro. I'm going to moonwalk you into hell. I was a sycophant for Michael Jackson. I would have did almost anything to meet Michael. You told me if you want to meet your mom, Michael, slap your mother. I wouldn't have slapped my mama. Don't. But the thought probably would have came across my mind, and then all of a sudden, a slap in my mind would have came to knock it out my mind. I put that up there for a reason because we got people out here think they're patriots when they're not. They're sycophants. And then they got it twisted. Those who are actually doing things in this country. And look, I'm not a fan of, look, I love politics. I'm not going to lie. The idea and the thoughts of politics intrigue me. It's one of my great passions. But look, I don't trust none of them people on Capitol Hill. I don't trust no president. I don't care what color they are. I trust you by your actions, not by your color or not by your speech, your actions. Let me see what you did in the past. Let me see what you're doing now. All right, so what you plan on doing in the future? See, me, people say, I support you, I support you, I support you. You never hear that come out of my mouth. I'll support what you do. It ain't about you, it's about what you do. These new squad members or whoever, now they're in office and things like that, I'm going to be on them by what they do. When they do something that's going to lift the American people who put them in that position, I'm going to big them up. When they ignore, give the American people the hand, give them the bird, tell them, flip them off with their mouth and things like that. I don't care if you're Democratic or Republican. AOC is going to see me when she come to town because she's sitting up here trying to shame all the Republicans for not impeaching Trump, and they should be shamed. Don't get me wrong. They should be shamed if they believe that Trump did this, if they really believe that, then they supposed to impeach him. If they believe that, if they really believe it. Because honestly speaking, I believe, and Trump is the only person that suffers this, pathological liar is a disease. A pathological liar actually believes the lies that come out their mouth, and they believe it with everything in their heart. You give them a lie detector test, it's going to come out true to them. He believed this thing was stolen. Not saying it was true, but he's and may have some sense. Every election has a little bit of election tampering, election rigging. Every election has it. But it's not widespread. And you got to prove that it's widespread in order for somebody to take it serious. It's a disease to some people. And this man is a bona fide pathological liar, just like the guy who beat him. He's a pathological liar too, proven throughout his whole history of lying and conniving and plagiarizing the whole 9 yards. Yes. My point is this. You guys are riled up about people that if you had stage 4 cancer right now, you're not going to get a phone call from them. They're not going to visit you. They don't even know your freaking name. And you ready to go out there and flip over stuff for them, knock down people's cameras, kick down a doggone gate, bust a window open and walk in, break into somebody's office. You're willing to do that. And when something happened to you, they ain't going to know who you are. But you're proud that I did this for this person. That is what you call a sycophant. Doing this in the name of whatever leader it is. It could be Donald Trump or whoever. Case in point. This.
Drive safe. What do we do with our son gone off to college? What you'll do is claim a tuition tax credit for him, which I can help file.
Tonight for President Trump, the final hours. Moving trucks outside the West Wing, but no sign of the president. Though Vice President Pence, NBC News has confirmed, called Vice President-elect Kamala Harris on Thursday, belatedly congratulating her and offering assistance with next week's inauguration that, unlike the president, Pence will attend. The conversation described as cordial and pleasant. At the Capitol, Nancy Pelosi sidestepping questions about when she'll send that article of impeachment to the Senate for trial, to be prosecuted by 9 House Democrats.
So urgent was the matter. They're now working on taking this to trial, and you'll be the first to know.
Democrats would need 17 Senate Republican votes to convict President Trump, an uphill climb. At least one Republican, Alaska's Lisa Murkowski, a Trump critic, not indicating how she'll vote, but suggesting she's open to convicting the president.
I believe that this president has committed an impeachable offense.
Now Harris, the incoming vice president, addressing concerns the trial that could start as early as Inauguration Day will overshadow their agenda.
We know how to multitask. There's a reason that word exists in the English language. That's what's going to be required.
And we've just learned that President Trump's expected to leave the White House hours before the inauguration, with discussions underway for a ceremonial send-off arriving in Florida before Biden is sworn in.
Now, get this now. Like I said, you know me. You're going to draft up articles of impeachment to try to impeach this man. You're not going to do it right now. In the Senate, you don't have the numbers. There's going to be twice this man has been impeached. Never in history. But the chance of him being convicted is still slim to none. When you had an opportunity to get him on the emolument clause, but the reason you didn't get him on the emolument clause because you guys have violated the emolument clause your whole entire life. You've been on Capitol Hill. You've been profiting outside of your office position. The lady who holds the letter of impeachment right now, who's talking about taking it to the Senate, is worth over $120 million. How in the world you as a politician have $120 million in your bank account? Emolument clause, violating the emolument clause. Most politicians, especially those in the House and Senate, have some kind of way they're making money outside of their political position, and they don't supposed to be doing it. Now I know Nancy Pelosi's husband is mainly responsible for the $120 million. My point is, these politicians, they could have got rid of Trump a long time ago just on the emolument clause. The business dealing he was doing with Saudi Arabia was off the charts. The money he's making in Mar-a-Lago just by going there, helping his sons, helping the Trump Foundation double their profits, the opportunity to make money by housing diplomats at the Trump Hotel right next to the White House. Violating the emolument clause, you wouldn't go after him on that because you are guilty yourself. And we are sitting here being fans of this political party, being fans of this political party, being fan of this person and that person, and all these rich people are doing all this stuff. But you know you broke and you've been a sycophant of a billionaire. You know you broke and you being a sycophant of a person who have no idea of what it's like to be you. What have Nancy Pelosi did with her constituents lately in Oakland, in San Francisco? Dianne Feinstein. What have Trump did for you? What have Linda McMahon did for you? She don't work at the WWE no more. What have Betsy DeVoe did for you? All these wealthy politicians are not doing whatever they can to lift you up, yet you think they do. You think they are, to the point that you're willing to go out there and lay your life down in the name of that political person. That is what you call a sycophant. You know, when Obama was president, the first year, I was on the Obama campaign in 2008 in North Carolina, on the border of North Carolina and Virginia, and excited about the campaign. Had my Barack Obama hat, shirt, pin, the whole 9 yards. You know, when he became president, I didn't wear all that stuff. Here you got the first black man, make black men like me feel proud to be an American, and it was a great day knowing that Barack Obama was our president. But I wasn't going out there trying to do all this crazy stuff. Because at the end of the day, where will he be if my mom get hit by a car or if my sister gets shot? Where will he be for me? Donald Trump tell you I can stand in the middle of Manhattan and shoot somebody and not lose a supporter, and you prove him right. No, we gonna get, I know I'm talking, man. We gonna get into this. I'm nowhere near done. We're gonna go to another video. Let's stop there. I don't want to go too far into that video right now. All right? Not right now. Let's go into some of these things right here. I want to talk about a couple things. We're talking about sycophants. First, let's deal with this word treason, okay? This is from Interactive Constitution. This website was made by the National Constitution Center. This was interpreted by Paul T. Crane, U.S. Department of Justice Criminal Division, and Deborah Pearlstein, Professor of Law and Co-Director of the Florsheim Scheimer Center for Constitutional Democracy at Yeshiva University here in New York. Treason is a unique offense in our constitutional order, the only crime expressly defined by the Constitution. You hear that? It's not defined by you. It's not defined by your club. It's not defined by your president. It's not defined by your mama or your cousin or your uncle. It's defined by the Constitution and apply only to Americans who have betrayed the allegiance they are presumed to owe the United States. Who betrayed the allegiance they presume to owe the United States. While the Constitution's framers shared the century-old views that all citizens owe a duty of loyalty to their home nation. To their home nation. In other words, if you're born here and you're an American citizen, you owe duty of loyalty to your home nation. They included the treasonous clause not so much to underscore the seriousness of such a betrayal, but to guard against the historic use of treason prosecution by repressive governments to silence others' legitimate political position. Debate surrounding the clause at the Constitutional Convention thus focus on ways to narrowly define the offense and to protect against false or flimsy prosecution. Let me go back to that because I want you to hear this again. The only crime expressly defined by the Constitution and applying only to Americans who have betrayed the allegiance they presume to owe to the United States. Now, let me go further. The United States is nothing without the people that represents the United States. Native Americans used to call this Turtle Island. white settlers from Britain named this the United States after they stole majority of it from America, from natives. Now I got that natives got conned. While the Constitution framers shared that the central view, citizens owed a duty of loyalty to their home nation, not to the president, not to the vice president, not to Congress, not to the police department, but the nation. These people are just individuals in the country. They have no more representation than you do. The president has no more representation than a Proud Boy or a Black Lives Matter person. His representation, just because he's the president, doesn't make him more of importance than you or me. Now, when somebody did something against me, did you call them a treasonous person? Somebody hit me, I probably knocked them out, hit them back. Somebody cussed me out, did you call them treasonous? If somebody don't believe in my views, did you call them treasonous? Not so much to underscore the seriousness of such betrayal. So in other words, what you consider a betrayal to the country is really not a betrayal to this country. Because they had to say this: to guard against the historic use of treason, prosecutions by repressive governments to silence otherwise legitimate political opposition. There's nothing wrong with political opposition. Just because you have a political opposition to a political point of view doesn't mean you're a traitor. Now, honestly speaking, there's a lot of political views of Democrats that I don't agree with. There's a lot of political views of Republicans I don't agree with. There's a lot of political views of some Bernie progressives I don't agree with. And there's a lot of political views of trumpets that I don't agree with. None of it has anything to do with treason. The Constitution specifically identified what constitutes treason against the United States, and importantly, limits the offense of treason to only two types of conduct: levying war against the United States. Levying war against the United States. Levying war against the United States. Now, how? Where in this country have we really started a war? And when I'm talking about war, I'm talking about declared war. Now, I can tell you right now, most of Black America haven't declared war on the United States. Most of Democrats haven't declared war on the United States. Most progressives haven't declared war on. Most libertarians haven't declared war. Most Republicans haven't declared war. But there's certain segments in Trumpism that believe that somebody declaring war on America. And it's not so. It's just that nobody agrees with you, and you got to agree to disagree, take your feelings, and just vent out. Your mama don't think you should go outside. What do? You go in and just huff and puff. Did she do you wrong? Is she a horrible mother? That don't mean that. Now, although there have not been many treason prosecutions in American history, indeed, only one person has been indicted for treason. One person has been indicted for treason. See, you're too loose with your words about what a treasonous act is. And I hate to say there's nobody going around correcting those who have their own idea what treason is. You can't have your own idea what treason is. You only can have the idea what treason is in the Constitution of the United States. And I'm going over it with you right now. Although there have not been many treasonous prosecutions in American history, indeed, only one person has been indicted for treason since 1954. The Supreme Court has had occasions to further define what each type of treason entails. Now, Levying a war against the United States was interpreted narrowly in Ex parte, Bowman, and Swartout, a case stemming from an infamous alleged plot led by former Vice President Aaron Burr to overthrow the American government in New Orleans. Now, where have Black Lives Matter, and I'm not a fan of the organization Black Lives Matter, but I do support Black Lives Matter movement, the marches, the mission of dealing with over policing and things like that. Just like I support the reparation movement, this country have profited off the backs of black people, native blacks here in this country, and got filthy rich. And when we started to catch up, they robbed us from that and put us right back at the bottom. And I think this country owed money to blacks. This man tried to overthrow the government. Black Lives Matter ain't trying to overthrow the government. Heck, the Democratic Socialists of America is not trying to overthrow the government. They're not storming into the Capitol. Black Lives Matter has not stormed into the Capitol. But if they did, they wouldn't even made it to the first step because y'all would have shot all of them. Every last one of them. No rubber bullets, no tear gas. It would have been real deal bullets going into the heads, backs, and chests of Black America. That's what I believe. And all they did was peaceful protest and didn't storm the Capitol. See, we had the Million Man March twice. We didn't storm the Capitol. We let it be known what we need to happen in America concerning black men. We let it be known during the Million Women March. We did a Million Family March. We didn't storm the Capitol. But y'all talked about Farrakhan and the people who was out there as if they were going to storm the Capitol, and you was ready, locked and loaded, just in case they did. But in this case, you wasn't ready and locked and loaded, knowing that people was going to come toward the Capitol. Heck, the Medicare for All movement had nothing but less than probably 100 people out there on the Capitol steps, and you were ready to knock them down. Now, you take some time to go through this yourself. I'm not going to go through this whole thing because I got stuff to do. The bottom line is what most people, especially those who were at that event, that end up being the storming of the Capitol building. Not saying all Trump supporters stormed it. Some of them probably just thought they was rallying, and then you got a few people that decided to go further than that, making the rest of them look bad. You guys should have went home and said, I ain't got nothing to do with this. I mean, look, I had a friend of mine said, look, man, Rob Brown, I'm about to go in here and steal some beer. I'm like, bruh, I'm out. I ain't got nothing to do with you. I'm not doing that. Every last one of these people that stormed behind, I don't care if they didn't break into it. If you followed them into that corridor, if you entered that building without being properly checked or anything, then whatever comes, if you want to call it an insurrection, you want to call it whatever they make, you still need to do the time because you participated in breaking and entering. A federal building at that. If it was a black man breaking into the federal building, if he did survive, if he did get shot and survive, after he got healed, his butt was going to federal prison. Which brings me to this. Jenny Ryan. Jenny Ryan is a Donald Trump supporter. Let me bring myself up here. Jenny Ryan is a Donald Trump supporter, a real deal, true, hard to the core Trump supporter. Jenny Ryan took a flight out, a private flight out. Private. Jenny got some money. Jenny took a private flight out to the White House to hear from Trump. A private flight. That's how serious this was to Jenny. I want to say it like Forrest Gump.
Criminal complaint filed in D.C. federal.
She took a private flight out because she believed Donald Trump needed her. Sick old fan. Or a sick old fan. Not sycophant. A sick old fan who is actually a sycophant. Well, we're going to deep dive into her story because she got some freaking nerve to say this. Let's go into her story. All right, fair use, YouTube. This is from CBS Dallas-Fort Worth News 11, and they did a story on this lady who went to the Trump rally, who now facing prison time.
Court. To a criminal complaint filed in D.C. federal court, Jenna Ryan faces 2 charges: disorderly conduct on Capitol grounds and knowingly entering and remaining in a restricted building. Also, prior to the unsealing of her criminal complaint in D.C., Ryan had told CBS 11 News in an email last week that she never entered the U.S. Capitol building. The conservative.
Now, before I go further, I just realized, just want to make sure I'm being, this thing is recording. Because sometimes this thing do not record the sound that I need. Hopefully it is. Hopefully you can hear this. Now look what she said. This is a window at the Capitol, and if the news doesn't stop lying about us, we're going to come after their studio next. Well, is the news lying about you guys breaking and entering the Capitol building? And is this a threat that what we did to the Capitol, we're coming to do that next? Are you threatening? See, how in the world you can say you are not a participant in this when you're saying window at the Capitol building? And if the news doesn't stop lying about us, we are going to come, not they are, not them, but we. If they don't stop lying about us, we're going to come after their studio next. Well, were they lying about you guys breaking into the studio? Breaking into the Capitol building? Clearly, you said you're a part of this because you said we're going to come after the studio next if they don't stop lying. Who is we? Jenny?
Republican radio talk show host at times posted a picture of her. Here it is outside of the building and in front of a broken window that day, but the complaint also.
Now, fair use. Again, YouTube, fair use. Here's this woman standing in front of the broken building, the broken window, holding the peace sign with an American flag scarf and a Trump hat on. Sick old fan. And sycophant. You're both. You're sick in your head and you're a sycophant. Why? Why are you there? Why are you posing in front of a broken window holding up the peace sign? Let me keep going.
Window that day, but the complaint also includes surveillance images of Ryan.
She is actually going into the building. If you enter the building, I don't care who you are. If you enter the building and you were not authorized to enter that building, you violated the law. If you follow behind a broken door or busted open door or a broken window, if you followed in that entryway, you should be charged for breaking and entering into a federal building. I know you Trump supporters don't like to hear that. If you did that, if you were there and you intruded, and also intruding in a federal government building. There's so many laws that they can slap on your behind and stack up on your behind as if you're a black man who just bought some weed. I could be black, go buy some weed, and they're going to charge me with distribution. They're going to charge me with the use. They're going to charge me with holding drug paraphernalia. They're going to charge me with distributing. They're going to charge me with everything. Well, you should be charged right here, Jenny.
Inside the building. Just a few hours later, Ryan posted on Twitter, quote, "We just stormed the Capitol. It was one of the best days of my life." Afterward,
Jenny said this. Jenny said in hours immediately following the breach of the U.S. Capitol building, Ryan posted, "We just stormed the Capitol. It was the best day of my life." So this is the best day of your life? Do you have any children? Do you have any children? You mean your firstborn child was not the best day of your life? Did you get married? Are you still with your husband? Going into the Capitol building under the name of Trump, following behind a broken door and a broken window into the building, which makes you complicit, you're saying that was the best day of your life. Sycophant. This is a restricted ground. I bet half of you people were complaining about Black Lives Matters rioting and breaking into corporate stores. And look, you do that, you got to do the time too. I'm not letting these people out July. I'm not letting you out. You just got to understand that if you're going to do a certain thing, that you got to pay for your efforts. According to this, say Ryan violated 18 U.S.C. 1752, which makes it a crime to knowingly enter or remain in a restricted building or ground without lawful authority to do so. And 2, knowingly and with the intent to impede or disrupt the orderly conduct of government business, which they were there to do because they heard Trump tell them to do that. They were there to disrupt the certification of the election. Well, whether you think it was right, whether you think he won or not, there's a process you have to go through to prove that Trump was robbed. And Trump went through the process, and so far they said there's no widespread evidence of that happening. So in other words, dude, hang it up. It's a figment of your imagination. It's part of your pathological lionism. Knowingly and with the intent to impede or disrupt the orderly conduct of government business or official function, engage in disorderly or disruptive conduct in or within such proximity to any restricted building or ground. Let's keep going.
of Ryan's arrest, FBI agents walked into her home in Carrollton not too long ago to execute a search warrant.
Now, they walked into her house, they executed a search warrant, and they picked up a lot of her stuff. They're going to see what role she play in this. But let's go a little further.
We do not tolerate violent agitators and extremists who use the guise of First Amendment protected activity to incite violence and wreak havoc.
In other words, you're not going to use "we're patriots and you guys are treasoners" to attack a government federal building. And even if some of you guys are planning on doing that now, you plan on doing that now at these different government federal buildings. I'm telling you, you might want to think twice about this, because this doesn't make you patriots. This do not make you a hero. This make you the treasonous one. This make you an anti-hero. If you plan on storming state capitol buildings and local mayor's office, and all in the name of Trump, all in the name of, it's really in the name of Trump. It's not in the name of patriotism and America first. It's not. Be prepared. because you should be punished to the fullest extent to the law. Heck, if I was out there, I would too.
Listen to my president.
Now listen to her. This is sycophant talk. Sycophant talk gets very personal. My, we, us did it for him. He should. Our, my, me. Sound like she tuning up to sing a song. Listen to what she had to say.
Listen to my president who told me to go to the Capitol.
She listened to her president who told her to go to Capitol. Let's keep going.
On CBS 11 tonight, that North Texas real estate agent arrested for her trip to the Capitol. She tells us what she expects now from President Trump and reflects.
Oh, wait. She expects something for Trump because she did that? So in other words, I listened to you. This is what you wanted us to do. Now, did Trump really want them to do that? I don't know. And I'm not going to try to go into tit for tat whether he incited it or not. All I know is he could have stopped it. He could have stopped it from ever happening in the first place. He could have said, look, we're not even going to go to the Capitol. It's over with. It's done. Go home. Carry your butt home. Joe Biden's next president. I don't like it. You don't like it. And I'm quite sure a lot of Democrats don't like it. A lot of people who did support Joe Biden don't like it. But he's the president, and let's live the fight another day. Go home. No. Him and Giuliani start talking that talk, and people are going to say, well, he didn't say outright, go down there and storm the Capitol. Yeah, Charles Manson didn't tell them people to go do those murders in the hills of California. But they did. Why? Because they knew that's what he wanted. See, you don't have to actually say something. If somebody know that there's something that you want because they love you, because they're passionate about you or sycophants of you, they'll do it, and you ain't got to tell them to do it. You know I like bow ties. I ain't got to tell you to go get me a bow tie in order for you to go get me a bow tie. You know I like bow ties. So you know Trump is upset. You know Trump is frustrated. The window is closed. The window is closing for him to fight this thing. He don't have to tell you exactly to go into the courthouse or go into the halls of Congress. He ain't got to say it. You know he won't that. Now, should he be responsible if you go in there? Well, I say this. Should Charles Manson be responsible for the murders that took place where he didn't participate in, that he didn't stab nobody in, that he didn't actually murder somebody? Should he, if they did it for him, should he go to jail for it?
As she faces the potential for time behind bars.
I'm facing prison sentence. Do I feel like a criminal? No. Do I feel guilty? No. But I do feel a little wronged.
How in the world? First of all, crimes ain't got nothing to do with your feelings, girl. Do I feel like a criminal? No. That don't take away the fact that you're a criminal now. You were seen by surveillance next to a broken window holding a peace sign. You were seen going into a building that has been broken into. You participated in a breaking and entering. And I'm just starting there. There's a lot of other things that goes on top of breaking and entering. You participate in it. So whether you feel like a criminal or not, ain't got nothing to do with anything. You did a criminal act. What did she say? Let me go back and hear what she said.
Wronged.
Do I feel like I did something wrong? Baby, doing something wrong ain't got nothing to do with feelings. You either do wrong, whether you feel like it or not. Nobody wakes up in the morning and say, man, I feel like doing wrong. They just do wrong. Stop making excuses for this. And do I feel like I was wrong? Yes. How you were wrong when you walked in behind a group of people that just broke into the Capitol building, knowing you're supposed to be a real estate agent? You're supposed to be a woman that owns a flower shop. You're supposed to be a flower vendor. You're supposed to be a smart businesswoman. I mean, you're supposed to be supreme, right? How in the world are you going to say, I don't feel like a criminal. I don't feel like I did nothing wrong, but I do feel like I've been wrong. Are you freaking kidding me? Get out of here. I wish I had a gif of Charlie Murphy laughing at you, when Prince told him that let's go play some basketball, because that's the kind of laugh you should get.
Federal prosecutors say that Jennifer Ryan marched right into the U.S. Capitol.
Here's a picture of you marching right into the U.S. Capitol that has been broken into. Even if the guards let you in, if you were not certified to be in that building, then you and that guard need to go to jail. Because I know some of y'all are going to use this as an excuse and say, well, authorities let them in. They ain't got nothing to do with it. Well, the authorities let them in. You don't supposed to be in that building. You were not cleared to be in that building. No, you ain't going to use that as an excuse. You did the crime. You need to do the time.
They say that that's a crime, and now she faces possible jail time.
I would say I felt like I was doing my patriotic duty.
Tonight, Frisco realtor Jennifer Ryan.
How in the world you feel like you're doing your patriotic duty? See, this is what I'm saying. You guys there's too many people that are in this country that has the wrong mindset, the wrong idea of what a traitor is, or what a patriot is, or what doing your patriotic duty is. Go serve in the military, put your life on the line for a government who only trying to get resources. Occasionally they're trying to, help democracy spread, occasionally. That's patriotic duty. Breaking into the Capitol building with the intent to stop an election, it's not a patriotic duty. That's not a patriotic duty. Stopping an election from being certified, breaking and entering to do it, vandalism and stealing items and things like that, breaking into people's political offices, sitting down in their chair having a cigar, putting your feet up on their desk.
And is speaking out in defense for her actions last week that federal authorities say were criminal.
So me personally, I do not feel a sense of shame or guilt from my heart.
It ain't got nothing to do with whether you feel. Folks, do you know most of the people who are hardcore criminals? They do this stuff. They could care less about feeling. People murder people senselessly. Serial murders. A lot of people kill people and don't have a feeling. Don't have no feelings. Who told this lady, if you don't feel like it, that means you didn't do nothing wrong? Doing wrong ain't got nothing to do with your feelings, baby. Just like I said before, this lady is insane, man. And I'm quite sure she's not the only one that think this way that was in that crowd.
From what I was doing, I thought I was following my president. I thought I was following what we were called to do.
And that's the problem. That's the problem. A sycophant will follow a person to the ends of the earth. The people in Jonestown were sycophants of Jim Jones and his teaching. The people in the hills of California that did those senseless murders were sycophants of Charles Manson. And I can go on and on and on of the cult leaders or religious leaders and the people who went to the ends of the earth for this person. You thought you were doing what your president, making it personal. Let's hear that again.
I thought I was following what we were called to do.
I thought I was following what we were called to do. What were you called to do? Were you called to break into the Capitol building? Or, I mean, let's say I give Trump a pass and say Trump didn't tell anybody to do nothing like that, because I know some of you people out there. Okay, he didn't. Let's say that. Cover up for Trump, okay? Let's get him out the way. People are grown people. They make their own decision. According to her, she felt like she heard from her president and she did what she thought the president should do, that wanted. This is no different from the people who looked in the eyes of Charles Manson, and if Charles Manson made a complaint about a couple and the couple get on his nerves, I mean, if I could, I'll cut their throat and blah, 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 blah. That's what he said he'll do. Now, if you decide to go do it for him, that make you a sycophant. Well, you know, I think they did us wrong. This election need to be stopped. If I could, I would stop it. Of course, he's not going to do it. But you feel like, okay, we'll go do it for you. Now, and that's what you did. You tried to do this, and it didn't go in your favor. And now this is what you got to deal with.
She's referring to this moment, a now deleted video that the FBI recovered showing images of Ryan entering through the rotunda.
He asked us to fly there. He asked us to be there. So I was doing what he asked us to do. So as far as...
All right, giving Trump some cover. Let's take him out of the equation. He told you to fly there. He told you to do this. Do you have any evidence of him telling you to do this? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not letting Trump off the hook for this, because Trump could have stopped this. Number one, why are you having this rally? It's over with. It's done. Stop the steal rally. You can always take up your efforts of the steal after the election. You went through the process of going through the course and they told you no. Were your judges, were the judges that Trump appointed treasonous or not? No, they were not treasonous, because they didn't do anything against the country. They just told President Trump, you got no case, bro. The people in Georgia, the Secretary of State of Georgia, the governor of Georgia, told Trump the same thing. You got no praise. Are they treasonous? No. See, your definition of treason is faulty. It's crap. Because that's not the official definition of treason in this country. Treason doesn't mean going against your president. Because if it was, half of you guys went against Barack Obama, put your mouth on Barack Obama, talked about him like a dog, and that would be considered treason too. You didn't support him. You didn't push him. What's the difference? Oh.
My heart of hearts, do I feel like a criminal? No, I am not the villain that a lot of people would make me out to be, or maybe think I am, because I was a Trump supporter.
Other evidence that the federal authorities gathered was this photo that stated "window at the Capitol." And if the news doesn't stop lying about us, we're going to come after their studios next. Federal charges filed against her today were for knowingly entering or remaining in any restricted building or grounds without lawful authority, as well as disorderly conduct on Capitol grounds.
Knowingly entering or remaining in any restricted building or ground without lawful authority. Disorderly conduct on Capitol ground. All federal offenses, things you did, you got caught, it's on video.
Though Ryan says she had the right to protest.
You have a right to protest, but not like that, baby. Not like that. Not like that. And it don't matter if the president did tell you to do it. You didn't have the right to go in breaking and entering. You didn't have the right to put congressmen's lives in fear. People had to run from protesters. They had to pull out the guns. You had senators hiding in their seats, hiding in their office, down in the basement, because the fear that you brought on them.
Displaying my patriotism when I was there, and I was just protesting.
That is not patriotism. It looked like you were doing an insurrection. And it looked like you were trying to stop election fraud by any means necessary, or election certification from the Electoral College by any means necessary. That is a threat to our democracy.
And I wasn't trying to do anything violent, and I didn't realize that there was actually violence. And
it doesn't matter whether you were trying to do anything violent. You were guilty by association. You were hanging around the people who broke. You followed them in there. And just like Charles Manson, watching a murder take place that he didn't ask them to do with his mouth, but pretty much suggested it when he made complaints about these Hollywood elites. They killed for him, and he didn't expect to go to jail for it. Matter of fact, they didn't want him to go to jail. They tried to cover up and say, he didn't tell us, we did that on our own will. And you sound just like those people saying, I just did what my president told me to do.
It went way out of proportion, and I would like to apologize for all the families that are affected by any of the negative environment.
But Ryan, now facing jail time, is looking for help from the president.
Now, look, let me stop here for a second. White privilege has been a word that white people want to admit that, want to say they don't have access to. That it doesn't, I'm not rich, it doesn't affect me. I'm not privileged. Oh, you assume white privilege mean that you have to be wealthy. You had a spoon up your behind and up your mouth. No, white privilege is having the ability to do things that black people can't do, that Native Americans can't do, that Latinos can do. Let me go back to black people. Because honestly speaking, the American natives were in no dapple. They got water cannon with sub-zero degrees water that pretty much took their arms off, damaged their lungs. Obama allowed that to happen. Black Lives Matter marched the streets of Ferguson. Rubber bullets, you name it. They got the army tank. And if it would have got too violent, they would have fired off on them. You got majority of white Trump supporters. There was some other colors. There was Asians in there. There was Latinos in there too. There was some blacks. You even had some gays there that love Trump. They have a rally, and a certain segment of those people, not all of them, because if all of them would have went in there, man, they wouldn't have been able to topple them. They wouldn't have been able to stop them. They wouldn't. If these people really wanted to do an insurrection, they wouldn't have been able to stop them because they were, for some reason, they weren't prepared for it. But because only a certain amount of number, which makes the rest of them look bad, did go in, and you got people who followed in with them, you're going to pay the penalty. White people majority going to the Capitol, you do nothing. That is white privilege. Because if it was the blacks or if it was Native Americans, on those doorsteps, knowing from what I know they did at No Dapple, they would have got water cannon or they probably would have got shot. But black people invading the Capitol because they wanted reparations? Oh, they ain't going to have that. What black person in their mind who decided to storm the Capitol over reparations because Barack Obama, he felt Barack Obama wanted them to do it. What black person do you think should ask Barack Obama? Can you imagine a black person asking Barack Obama to pardon them? This lady right here thinks Barack Obama should pardon her. Let me get back to it.
I would like a pardon from the President of the United States. I think that we all deserve a pardon. I'm facing prison sentence.
This white lady said, I know, yes, I took a picture next to a broken window. Yes, I know I followed the rioters, the insurrectioners, whatever you want to call it. I followed them into the building that they broke into, that they didn't have any authorization to be in. They violated all the protocols to enter the place. I followed them. I didn't participate, but I followed them. Girl, they're going to say that you participated. If you followed them in there, you participated. And whether you feel like you did anything wrong and ain't got nothing to do with feeling, you did something wrong. It was wrong. And if you got to pay the penalty, you got to pay the penalty. But this lady wants Donald Trump to pardon her. Now, Donald Trump probably be the type of person that would, but he's getting ready to leave. He ain't going to waste his time pardoning these people. He don't want to have nothing to do with these people. He's going to back away from these people. He's gone now. Had he won, he may have. She wants a pardon. That is the height of white privilege, where you think you could break into the Capitol or follow those people who broke into the Capitol and just hoop-de-doo and walked around like you one of them and post on social media, greatest day of my life, that now that you're about to get prosecuted and you're going to go to federal prison, you want the president to bail you out. You talking about cocky, arrogant, white privilege. That is the essence of it. Listen to her. This lady is out of her mind. You want Donald Trump to pardon you and the rest of the protesters that broke into the Capitol because you believe he told you to. And he may have told you to. I know Giuliani was part of that. Trump was part of that. Like I said, just because somebody ain't directly say it out in your face doesn't mean he's not implying it.
I'm facing prison sentence. I think that I do not deserve that. And I think every person, from what I understand, everyone's going to be arrested that was there. So I think everyone deserves a pardon, and I would ask the President of the United States to give me a pardon.
Now, how in the hell and heaven you going to ask the President of the United States to pardon you for breaking and entering into the federal building? That will, number one, be the biggest pardon of all time, a mass pardon. And number two, they should find some way to override the pardon. I don't know if that can be done, but the nerves of you, we got people who go to jail for smoking a bag of weed. You break in the freaking federal building and you talking about, please pardon us. Are you freaking kidding me?
When they put out the call to show up in Washington, D.C. and support the president, then we're going to do that.
Social media.
Vandalize anything, but we did. We did, as I say that, we did break down the Nancy Pelosi's office door.
Now again, here you are. You MAGA, Trump nut huggers, supporters, sycophants. Sycophant. When I say sycophant, you're so much a fan of him that you're sick in your mind that you're willing to lay down your life for a man. You wouldn't do this for God. You wouldn't do this for your children. You wouldn't do this for your cousin, your uncle. But for this guy who don't know you and won't even show up at your funeral, won't even give your family a call, you're going to do all this for him. And I don't care whether they let you in or anything. If you didn't go through the protocol to get in that building, then you need to be prosecuted. And here you are bragging. How in the blue heaven and hell are you going to say, please, President, we only did what you told us to do. Pardon us. How in the hell are you going to do that in heaven that you do that? I got to say that because some people think I'm cussing. No, hell is a real place. It's not a cuss word. So I use both words, heaven and hell. How in the heaven? Is that better for some of you? How in the heaven do you think you could say stuff like this and then ask the man to pardon you when there's brothers in jail for in jail right now to this day, smoking a bag of weed just to ease their mind, just to get a little lift, just to get a little high. And you guys break into a federal building and you brag about it and you want Trump to pardon you. Let's hear this again, because this is crazy.
We did, as I say that, we did break down the Nancy Pelosi's office door. Vandalize anything. D.C. and support the president, then we're going to do that.
Social media.
Vandalize anything, but we did. We did, as I say that, we did break down the Nancy Pelosi's office door.
and now she is paying the price. Do you regret any of your actions at the Capitol, Jenny? But Cud isn't the only one paying the price here. Are you going to be worried about Becky's flowers and the future of Becky's flowers because of your political actions? So is her business.
She said, we broke down. We broke into Nancy Pelosi's office. We broke into it. Girl, you just confessed to a crime. And now you want a pardon for Trump. For Trump to pardon these people, then he need to go to jail himself. It should be just like Jesus. Either they going to take on their sins or you going to take on the sins of the world. These people sinned in your name. I'm talking to church, because there were church, holy filled, glory to God, people out here in this crowd that follow right along in that mess. And then you got church ministries that's trying to cover up for this mess. Some who I gave money to.
Making it clear they do not stand with Cud's actions and removing Becky's flowers as a vendor.
Now, so there you saw. I guess you didn't see it. What is wrong with me? Let me play this real quick again. I thought you guys was looking at this. My bad. Let me go back to it. Listen to her confession.
I would like to apologize for all the families that are affected by any of the negative environment.
But Ryan, now facing jail time, is looking for help from the president.
I would like a pardon from the president of the United States. I think that we all deserve a pardon. I'm facing prison sentence. I think that I do not deserve that, and I think every person, from what I understand, everyone's going to be arrested that was there. So I think everyone deserves a pardon, and I would ask the President of the United States to give me a pardon.
So she thinks she's so bougie enough and so important enough and so proud enough that she can commit a federal crime and ask for a pardon when somebody's in jail for smoking weed or selling weed. It's not a federal offense, but they're in jail. Especially after when she done said something like this.
Court the president, then we're going to do that.
Social media.
Vandalize anything, but we did. We did, as I say that. We did break down the Nancy Pelosi's office door. So
here you are. Here we have a woman saying, we ain't vandalized, but we did break in. What's the difference between vandalism and breaking into a federal building and breaking into the House Speaker door? As if that was something less of a crime. I mean, I'm almost done with this. I got a couple more stories to get into. This. How in the world are you gonna say we didn't vandalize nothing, but yeah, I mean we didn't do no vandalism, but we did. We did break in Nancy Pelosi's laws. And that's not a crime, girl. That's a worse crime than vandalism. Now Trump said himself, if you vandalize, I think if you do anything to anything government from statue or whatever, you should get 10 years. So I'm telling people now, if you're willing to sacrifice to do that, understand you're going to get 10 years. I think they should come down. But I ain't got the guts to pull it down because I ain't trying to go to jail for 10 years. I got a lot of stuff to do. But you might have the guts. You might be a person that's willing to sacrifice yourself to pull down the statue because they need to be taken down. Here you are, you predominantly white people, breaking in into the federal building. Trump said you should get 10 years. They should get at least 10 years. Here she is. We ain't vandalized. But we did break into Nancy. We did break into Nancy Pelosi's office, but I want a pardon from the president. You guys lost your mind. Let's talk about sycophants. Let's go to another sycophant. I'm almost done. Sycophant. Here's one. Kyle Rittenhouse, out on bail, which he shouldn't be, goes out with his mother. What kind of mother allow her goes drinking take her son to a bar. He's a hero to people like the Proud Boys. A hero. This man shoot people, and he's out there drinking with Proud Boy members who decide to hide their face and putting up the white power sign. I want to say that's the sign of the Proud Boys because they do this a lot, but this has nothing to do with Proud Boys. This is the W stand for white power. Train a child in the way he should go and he will not depart of it. 9 times out of 10, his mama probably trained him to hate black people. I ain't going no further than black, so don't ask me to talk about nobody else. I'm talking about black people. Even though, or black people sympathizers. The teenager charged with homicide in the Kenosha, Wisconsin killing needs to stop drinking and flashing white power symbols. At least that's what prosecutors want. No prosecutors, his butt need to be in jail. The Kenosha DA office is asking the judge to modify Ryan House bond condition to bar him from boozing, going anywhere alcohol is served, making white supremacist hand gestures in public, hanging out with the group like the Proud Boys, according to new legal documents obtained. No, his butt need to be in jail without bail. He should not be out. Had somebody on Facebook say, Jacob Blake not able to walk, but Rittenhouse will walk. You talking about a spit in the face hit this man, paralyzed, can't walk, but you gonna let the guys who you gonna let this guy who shot people walk, but you gonna let the person who got shot by the cops not be able to walk and still try to put him in jail for something he didn't do? A man get charged for killing protesters, gets to walk. Currently out on $2 million bail. He should not even be. How did he get the $2 million bail? Because people looking up him as a hero, mainly white supremacists. Good on him. Let's get that boy some money and get him out of jail. And that's all I want our up-and-coming leaders, up-and-coming heroes, represent the cause. Let's get him up out of jail. Let's do a GoFundMe. Get him up out of that prison. Gonna make him a national hero. Yeah, y'all better have got him out of that prison because them boys, and I'm not talking about Proud Boys, would have got at him in the jail. But he shouldn't have been released. You could have put him in his own separate area, but he should not be out on bail. His mama taking him drinking, because in that state, you can't go out and drink as long as you got an adult with you, and they out there doing white power signs. Talking about white privilege. Y'all think this guy a patriot because he killed protesters. Well, there were George Soros protesters. They're socialists. Stop with that mess. You don't know what they are. Let's go to another one. Remember, I just told you what treason is. State capitals face threat of armed protesters, FBI warns. And this is crazy. Why are you storming the Capitol? Because your God, your hero, Donald Trump, is going to be out of office soon? We got to keep him in there. Trump. I got my Trump. What I'm going to do with my Trump 2020 signs? What I'm going to do with my Trump flag, my hat, my boat? Sycophants. Sycophants. Why are you planning on storming the capitals of this country? The election is over with. What is it going to do? But put you in jail and have you in jail for a long time, and Donald Trump ain't going to pardon you, and you ain't going, it just ain't going to happen. Officials anxiously await Sunday protests after a smattering of small pro-Trump demonstrations. You know, you had one guy got caught with a whole bunch of guns and bullets, claiming that he's a security guard. Man, get out of here with that mess, man. Get out of here. Let's talk about Enrique. He was just released. Enrique Tarrio is the president of the Proud Boys. He's Latino, claimed to be Afro-Latino, which means he's a black Latino. He's a black Puerto Rican. I mean, black Cuban, not Puerto Rican. Then that proves this organization is not a racist organization because they got the leader is a black Afro-Cuban. Bro, what they got to do anything? They call bootlicks. They call white supremacist handlers. True white supremacists like to stay under the radar. And they will use people of color to do their biddings. They will hide behind people of color to get their work done. They will empower people of color to help them with their cause and claim to reward them for it. You ever watched the movie Django? While Calvin Candy was out of town, who was in charge of the plantation, including the white people? Stephen. Who was more harsh and did more punishment than Calvin Candy himself? Stephen from the Django. Or Django, whatever you want to call. The D is silent. He's the chairman of Proud Boy, a far-right neo-fascist, according to them, and male-only political organization that promotes and engages in political violence, according to this, in the United States of Canada. Now, I had a talk with a Proud Boy member. He said, we don't do violence. We only do violence when somebody do violence. Yeah, but I was also told that you like to try to get people, you try to provoke people to violence. See, their thing is, we're not going to throw a punch unless you throw a punch, but let me figure out how I can get you to throw a punch at me. He was a candidate in a Republican primary election for Florida's 27th congressional district. He's like Ron DeSantis, but he withdrew. Tarrio is the Florida State Director of a grassroots organization Latino for Trump. He is the former director of Latino for Trumps. Here's a Latino for Trump, a black Cuban, running neo-fascist, according to this, white supremacist organization. Now, do I think they're a neo-fascist, white supremacist organization? Look, I've said it before, then I was called out on it before, and then I checked them out and I saw that they was multicultural. Then I remembered how white supremacy operates. It operates with using people of color, especially black people. It doesn't matter whether he's Native American black. It doesn't matter if he's African black or Latino black. Just because you're black doesn't mean just because a black person leads your organization don't mean it's not a white supremacist organization. But here he is, coming out of jail. Let's take a look at this.
Pretty good. Yeah. Come on now. Hey, honey.
Now, his Latino family member are hugging him. Got some white people hugging him. I mean, he's the president of the Proud Boys. Proud Boy is a uniform, attractive organization that's attracting people who support right-wing philosophy, but they do tend to go to the extreme. Just like sometimes Antifa goes to the extreme. Yeah, both of them go to the extreme. I mean, I support the idea of fighting fascism, but some people go to the extreme. Now, there's a lady in the crowd say, I bet you won't do this in Washington, D.C. again, and these people get mad. Watch this.
Yeah, you got 6 months. My guys can come back.
His guys can come back. His guys can come back. Shut up, lady. So she do freedom of speech, get at him a little bit, and then hear this lady call him a patriot again. I just told you what a patriot is. A patriot is a person who served their country, not a man. He is no more of a patriot than MC Hammer. He's no more a patriot than Dougie Fresh. Dougie Fresh loved his country. MC Hammer loved this country. Biz Markie loved this country. He ain't no different from anybody else.
We love you. God bless you. Thank you so much for everything you do.
And what do he do? What do he do? Muscle up brown shirt tights brothers and sisters, happen to be black and gold shirts this time. You know, brown shirt, black shirts, red shirts. You know, the red shirts that happened. Go look up your history about how they overthrew the government in Wilmington, North Carolina, because blacks were running the government. Blacks ran Wilmington, North Carolina, and they schemed up the plan to overthrow that government in Wilmington, North Carolina, and was very successful. Did they show you that? They were called the red shirts. Hitler had the brown shirts. Mussolini had the black shirts, using the same philosophy. All you do for us. Get out of here.
Where do you go from here, sir? I gotta go pick up my stuff, and I'm gonna get something to eat. And where's your stuff? I have no idea yet. Okay. And how are you getting a ride out of D.C., sir? What do you say to the supporters? What do you say to your supporters? That I love them. Thank you for supporting me, and thank you for your continuous support. And we're gonna keep pressing forward to this election for the tyranny, for picking me up. Just exactly like they did with Roger Stone. They picked me up with like 7 patrol cars for a misdemeanor. They shut down the entire bridge, pulled me out of the car at gunpoint.
Now, look, I'm going to stop here. I do agree with him. If you're stopping somebody just to badger him and he did not commit any crime, you're wrong. If you're stopping somebody, like the Roger Stone situation was a small situation, but they made it look bigger than what it really is. And look, don't get me wrong, Roger Stone is crap, man. He's to me, he's scum of the earth politically. Scum of the earth, excuse me. But I do still believe in democracy and doing things right by the book. And the way they did the Roger Stone situation was not by the book. And I don't know his particular situation or how they stopped him and how he got arrested. But if it wasn't by the book, then they're wrong. But that don't mean this guy and his organization is all that. Because the way I see them are no different from the way I see the red, the brown, or the black shirts. To me, they're a political arm of trumpetism. As a matter of fact, they came in existence through trumpetism. And they are the armed wing of trumpetism. They may not have weapons in their hands, but sometimes they'll grab them. They're what the militias want to be. See, they are good. The Proud Boys are good at getting support from other militia groups to back them up. And yes, he got a black Latino brother, poised, articulate, that's very attractive to getting more blacks to think like that, to get whites, to get more. Like I said, white supremacy use people of color to do their dirty dealing. Now, is that the case in this situation? I say you go check them out for yourself and be the judge. I'm not passing judgment. I'm not a fan of the Proud Boys. I'm not a fan of Black Lives Matter. I'm a fan of American people. American people loving and embracing one another and stopping this foolishness of serving a man or serving a country like it's God. Much as I love this country, much as I love people, you'll never, ever go beyond my personal belief in God. But yet some people use God to do some of the things that they do, and I'm not a prescriber for that. I know I'm talking too much. I'm almost done. Leave me alone.
For a misdemeanor. So we're gonna keep fighting. How are you gonna I don't need to be in DC to keep the fight going. I won't.
We love you. We're proud of you. Freedom.
Proud Boys, we're proud of you. Freedom. Boy, I'm done. We love you. Freedom, freedom, Proud Boys. Freedom, Proud Boys. Freedom. Love you, Proud Boys. Today we talked about patriotism. We talked about what is a traitor, who actually commits treason. We talked about being a sycophant. And you got to kind of watch yourself, because certain things are attractive. Trumpetism is not going anywhere. Matter of fact, I predict it's going to grow. And I predict people are going to have to push back on it if it get to be to the extreme. Because right now, it's to the extreme. And you got to push it you got to beat it into submission. Now, I'm not talking about physical beating. The American people need to take off this ideology. There's only one ideology that runs this country, and that's true freedom. That's not driven by a president, that's not driven by a political party, but it's driven by the same mind goal of American people. Right now, majority of American people want Medicare for all. It should be established, and it's not. Right now, majority of American people don't believe that you should come out of your pocket to get a higher education. It has not happened yet. Right now in America, most American people believe that there should be no homeless people on the street. And if you got any empty building, you need to be able to house them in their building, monitor them as they begin to beat homelessness. Myself, the reason I detach myself away from parties is because it leads to this. It leads to division. I don't support either one of you parties. And I don't support either one of you leaders in this party. I support the American people growing and expanding when they put people in the office to do the will of the people, in majority. This lady should be locked up, and for her, the ex-Trump to pardon her, the nerves of you. White privilege going to seed. That is the height of white privilege. When you sit there and say that we broke into Nancy Pelosi's office, but I want a pardon. Are you freaking kidding me? All of you need to go to jail to the fullest extent of the law, just like me, if I go get some weed and the police happen to stop me smoking the weed. That crime is greater than me smoking weed. You broke. If you didn't break into the federal building, you were hanging around people who broke into the federal building, and you followed them in, and whatever they did, you just went in for the ride, and you should do the time. It's 4. It's Rittenhouse. He should be in jail. I don't care if it's the juvenile detention center or whatever. He should be in jail. There shouldn't have never been a bail for him. And shame on this government that tried to lock up a man who gets shot in the back by police officers, all because he said he had a knife. Just telling the truth. But you're going to and now he can't walk, but you're going to let this person walk out of jail. Shame on this country. And last but not least, to prop up a hero of a black man who's the arm of white supremacy, using people of color. And don't get me wrong, these guys are sharp. They got their stuff together. It's kind of like things like that attract people. The reason a lot of black men went to the Nation of Islam is because the principles they taught and the uniform look that they had, they made you proud. Black men were proud to become part of the Islamic Muslim religion. Not talking about the worldwide religion. I'm talking about the American version through the eyes of Elijah Muhammad. They had that uniform look, the suit and bow tie, sharp. The ideology, sharp. The teaching made you better men. They're doing that with the Proud Boys. They're doing that with the Proud Boys. My problem is, brothers and sisters, watch who you organize with, because at the end of the day, they could be using you to be their arm to help white supremacy get established in this country bigger, farther, greater, and stretch across the ends of this earth. Got to watch that. And stop this man worshiping. Man worshiping is the end of this country and the end of this world when you're man worshiping. You're going all out to give your life up. I just did what my president told me to do. I was just following my president. Yeah. So did the Jim Jones followers who, I just drank the juice because Jim told us to drink the juice. Yeah, now you're dead. Well, Charles Manson didn't directly tell us to go, but I knew this is something that he wanted. So I decided to take it in my own hands and stab a lady in her stomach and take her baby out of her womb. Sycophant. Now, look. I know some of you people are not religious, but I'm a praying man. I really, really pray for this country. This extremism has to be brought to its knees. I'm not a fan of censorship, but I am a fan that if you see something that's extreme, that need to be taken off. I mean extreme. Like you're talking about toppling. You're talking about attacking. You're talking about overbearing. You're talking about murdering, stuff like that. And they calling people treasonous and stuff like that. That kind of talk. I believe certain things shouldn't be on any kind of media. But I also believe the American people should be smart enough to know that you don't need to be listening to that mess and tune the channel. You don't need to be watching a social media site and a website show that talks about how to murder people, how to make pipe bombs and stupid stuff like that. You shouldn't be on those websites. Those need to be censored. But just because I say that there was election fraud and you believe me, that's you and me. We can't control what people believe, and we can't control what people say. Stop. Stop trying to control people's lives and trying to tell them what's the truth and what's not the truth, because you don't even know what's the truth or not the truth. If that was true, then God would have more success in winning people over into his camp. We got to stop that in this country. Sycophants, stop being a sycophant. Stop following a man, and stop thinking that a person who don't show allegiance to a man is a traitor, not patriotic. That's a lie. A man does not represent this country. All the people in this country represent the country. You may not agree with them. You may vigorously disagree with them, but they're still American citizens, and you got to learn how to either ignore them, agree to disagree, because you're not going to force them to your side, act like nut wings. And they're not going to force you to their side if they act like nut wings. Agree to disagree, love, and continue to move on. I don't agree with you, but I love you. Moving on. I'm not going to hate you because you think different from me, and I don't want you hating me because I think different from you. And this thing that I'm not a patriot, you don't even know what a patriot is. I love and serve this country just as much as you love and serve this country too. Anyway, I'm done. I'm Rob Brown with the Rob Report. This is supposed to be up at 10 o'clock, and it's not. I'll holler at you later. Peace. And I'm sorry we went too long. I don't know what's going on with my light, but Jesus, it's going to look real dark in here. I'll holler at you later. Peace.